Before tonight's Wheel of Time Season 2, Episode 5 drops, a teaser as to what's going to be coming in the dramatic escalation as we head into the back end of Season 2.
We expected you hours ago.
Yes, you heard that audio correctly. It's foreign invading army. Yes, I know Robert Jordan said that the Sean Chan sounded like they had a Texas accent. Does that sound like a Texas accent? Or does that sound like a California accent?
The ways are unpredictable. I had expected our master to meet me himself.
Our master has more important things to do than play fetch with his dog.
Now, there was a lot of things that I just put on the screen that if you're a fan of the books, if you've even read a couple of the books, you'll go, wait a minute, why? The ways are not mysterious. They're fairly linear, but they're confusing to navigate. That's why there are way markers that were in them. In Season 1 of Wheel of Time, they took away a primary role in ownership of who created those. That would have been Ogier, which was in the books... What is not the monstrosity you're seeing on screen at all. They were the race, the ancient race that created the ways, these pathways that shorten distances. Think of like a kind of a wormhole that goes from place to place that's been lost in time. They also created something called a steading, which would have been forest areas, groves, absolutely absent from this show. The other thing you'll notice is that you've got not Egwene, not Nynaeve, and not Elaine acting like they're doing a community theater performance of Rip Van Winkle by laying up against a tree. It's kind of painful, especially in the case of Elaine. And then, of course, we have who the show apparently is all about. It's an Aes Sedai. That in the books is called Leandra, and she actually does something like this a little bit, kind of, but is not the star of the show. Leandrin is a very secondary, I'd say even third tier important character in the books who gets what she deserves. But in this show, she has gotten virtually all of the written words in the script.
What you do to these women is an abomination.
Well, let's pause it right there. You've got someone who's supposed to be a dark friend. That would be an ally to the big bad in this world. The way the show portrays it, there's a guy who looks like he wants to sell you a good used car who gets involved directly in all the affairs occurring in this interpretation, not adaptation, based upon... I'm not going to do Amazon's work for him. This has nothing to do with Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. Instead, they have the bad guy, the big bad, the dark one in this show, getting directly involved with all of these pissant people who, in the books, would have never happened because he has layers of organizational structure that would have interacted and done this day-to-day work. Now, you've got not Leandrin on the screen acting like the dark one is kind of like a pimp or a Tony Soprano lieutenant who interacts with some of the soldiers in a criminal organization are fighting over scraps.
What you do to these women is an abomination.
Because remember, we've got this dark friend who was just talking about women's rights and how dare you treat these three girls, which she blew up in an earlier episode, could be dead, and is now taking to give to this other dark friend to torture and enslave. But she's going to pause to monologue to give us gender studies, rationality, sympathetic backstory.
Perhaps the Sean Chan should learn proper respect for the One Power.
On the contrary, we respect the One Power so much we don't believe that anyone should wield it by accident of birth.
Now let's pause here. Take a look at the screen. This is the last moment of this clip where you could even argue that this is believable fantasy.
Our Suldam trained for years to prove themselves worthy. They earn their right.
And there is the money shot. In the show, in the scripts, this is somebody by the name of Lady Suroth. What you will notice is she looks more like Megamind's illegitimate sister, or aliens from a mid-60s Star Trek episode. Yes, that is an orange-colored skull cap covering her hair, which looks like a mushroom and has what appears to be the worst glued-on Mad Max mohawk you've ever seen. In case you wondered why all of the publicity stills for the show didn't show what this was, they only had her in the mask. Now you know.
Like the Aes Sedai.
I got to stop right there. Did you get that? Did you appreciate that stunning delivery of the lines?
Like the Aes Sedai.
Truly stunning. I really hope this wins a lot of Emmys for best adaptation, because that would be perfect. Would absolutely explain current year Hollywood, wouldn't it?
Our master's needs will change with time, you know.
And all Marath Damane will be leashed eventually.
My problem is that I actually care about these books, and this conversation is occurring with the Shanshan. And I've said it before, Prophet of the Dragon, the White Cloak, so many people have talked about what's wrong with this. The Shanshan are actually dedicated to destroying the very thing that they're claiming that not Lady Suroth is dedicated to, and that would be the Dark One. They have a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation of what ancient history was, and their motivations, though absolutely correct and on the side of the light, are rather brutal and foreign to those people like Rand, Matt, Perrin, anyone who is in this part of Robert Jordan's world. What the show has is this Lady Suroth, who never mentions someone called the Empress, which is kind of the matriarchy that is the head of the matriarchy for this entire society, is completely absent from the show. But they have this woman yelling supposedly in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people that they're allied with the Dark One to do his bidding, and now they're having a catty bitch fight in front of everybody because this is dramatic, because this is entertaining.
Perhaps I will be the one to place the collar around your lovely throat.
Now, most of this dialogue is in fact taken from Robert Jordan's books. The problem is in the delivery. Not only that, but as I said again on a live stream last night, the show's casting of Lady Suroth is to me very wrong. And the portrayal of someone who would be a Shanshan is to me very wrong. Now, if you like what you're seeing on the screen, if you think this makes perfect sense, please leave me a comment below. But does anybody feel like this is happening in a fantasy setting? Doesn't this feel like this could be two catty women having this conversation in a coffee break room in any show? The delivery takes you right out of it, not to mention the orange mushroom mullet mohawk they've got going on in the show.
Our master's needs will change. I'll remind you of it on the day you kneel to me.
I want everybody to take a look at this again. Now, if you like this, if you think, I'm sorry, if you think all I can do while I'm trying to record is stare at that bad orange latex skull cap. If you like this, tell me why. Could this have worked with this actress? I don't know. Could this have worked with this type of costuming? Maybe. Where this doesn't work is in the skull cap and then the delivery of lines, and for me, the casting. All of us have said it over and over and over again. You think that this show can't step down another notch on allowing you, even if you close your eyes, to pretend that this is a fantasy show.
Like the Aes Sedai.
What is this supposed to be? Is anyone watching? I'm Salty Traveling C. You have a good one.